Hi, students. I am so excited to start talking about the Roman Empire with you. I've divided up the empire into 2 weeks. We're going to look at the Roman Empire in its beginnings this week, and then next week we're going to see the height of the Roman Empire and then the fall of the Roman Empire. So what we'll be doing this week is really establishing the concepts of art as it links to government and authority, and we're going to see these obvious and very clear, distinct, or clear connections to the Greek world. And the time period that we'll be hanging out in the Roman Empire is with the establishment of the empire in 27 BCE, and then the end, well, it's debatable. To be safe, we'll just say a vague date of the 1400s in the Common Era. But many historians argue that the empire fell in 476 CE, others around 490. These are debatable because, well, the Roman Empire, it dwindles, it collapses over a period of time. And so, you know how historians, we love to argue, and some will argue that it was this attack or this death or this movement of troops that led to the downfall of the empire. And then others say, no, 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 it came 20 years before that, came 20 years before that, came 30 years before that, came 40 years before that. So we'll just say 27 BCE through the 400s in terms of a location. The Roman Empire at its height, or at its greatest size, stretched from England down to Egypt, from Spain all the way across the Mediterranean into Syria. And some students find it confusing because we call this the Roman Empire, and then we're going to hang out in the city of Rome, and we're going to be popping around to all these other cities in the Roman Empire. So people find it confusing because the city of Rome, the capital, is also the name of the empire. And in fact, one Greek orator, when speaking to Roman citizens, he said, quote, "For the categories into which you divide the world are not Hellens and barbarians. The division which you substitute is one of Romans and non-Romans, to which such a degree you have expanded the name of your city." That is by Aelius Aristides, Oration to Rome. So where did we leave off last week? Last week, we saw the end of the Roman Republic during a very difficult time in which there was many years of social unrest. In the year 45 BCE, Julius Caesar was elected by the Senate as the dictator, and as dictator, he had free reign over the control of the republic. However, the Senate saw that he had too much power and too much favor with the people, and they worried about their own influence and their own power, and so they murdered Julius Caesar. With the murdering of Julius Caesar, we saw an outbreak of civil war. Now, in class, I will always say this to students as we learn about the Roman Empire. Anytime you kill an emperor, there's gonna be a civil war. And as Romans, because I want you all now to think of yourself as Romans in the Roman Empire, as Romans, you have to deal with that very difficult identity of being both a warrior and a farmer, right? Requiring peace for prosperity, but also requiring conquest and domination for prosperity. And with this difficult balance of your own identity comes a very tenuous relationship with government, like your leaders. And anytime you don't like a leader, we often will simply kill them and have another civil war, shake things up a bit. And we see this pattern starting here with Julius Caesar. He is named dictator for life. the people of Rome, we love him. He got us Gaul, that big stretch of land up in what is now modern day France. And with that, not only did we get all these amazing natural resources, we got more people to then be part of the Roman Republic and slaves. Remember, this is a slave-based economy. So all these fresh slaves from Gaul, and here in the markets of Rome, we can just, pick and choose. Ooh, I want a Gaul as my slave. Ooh. So it's bringing in money, it's bringing in loot and booty and raw materials, and we loved Julius Caesar for this. He was so fantastic. But the Senate saw him as a threat. The Senate assassinates Julius Caesar. With that, we cause an uproar. Civil war breaks out. Remember, I said Mark Antony and Cleopatra, Julius Caesar's lover, they hook up and they decide they want to take over this crazy republic. On the other side is Julius Caesar's adopted son, and his name is Octavian. And Octavian says, nah, he's my dad. I'm going to be in charge. And so there's a battle and the civil war between these two. And then, spoiler alert, Mark Antony is defeated in a sea battle. Cleopatra finds out, she knows she's doomed, and so she assassinates her, or she commits suicide by having a snake bite her on the breast, and then she slowly dies of poison. Or of the venom. That's the, what's the word? That's the lore of her death. So who's on top? Augustus. Now you might be thinking I'm repeating myself, and that I'm, being redundant, but it's not. I'm repeating myself because I want you to understand the context of the birth of this empire. It is under the young adopted son of Julius Caesar. And here in this map, we see where am I going to put myself? I'll hide. We see the extent of the empire in pink, as it was when Octavian took the empire. And then we see the orange and the yellow are the territories that are taken in the early portions of, or the early time of the empire. So we're seeing this very quick, rapid expanse of the empire. Okay? All right. We call this an empire because the Senate, so grateful to Octavian, they elect him as imperator. Imperator is where we get the word emperor. And as imperator, it's like being dictator for life. In addition to that, the position is inherited by his sons. So as imperator, we start an empire. Gone is the Roman Republic. 500 years of a Roman Republic gone. We are a fresh, new empire. We, the people of Rome, I want you to think now, we are now not a Roman Republic, but a Roman Empire. What is that? What does that look like? What does that mean to us? The art is going to help define that for us, especially imagery of our new emperor. Who is this guy? His name? Well, he was Octavian, but he's going to change his name to Augustus. And this will be our next work of art, or our first work of art in our next video.